party. So I got my wreath for the door, I'm like, I'm done. They were like, yay.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's really cute. I had never been there. I think it's new, but I just have to see it. I was like, my husband got alpaca socks when he first moved here like 4 years ago and wore them out. And he's been wanting to go back and get some. So I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's one of his. I got a 95-year-old father-in-law. Like, what do you get him? So, you know.
Yeah, for the person who has everything.
Yeah. So it's called Granny's House. It's really good.
Is it on the right, going up the right-hand side?
Yes, yeah. And yeah, they had food products there, like, Carolina food items and toys for kids, great puzzles and clothes. And they really had everything, decoration.
It sounds like a nice spot to take my out-of-town guests to. They would enjoy that.
And then get their Christmassy feel, decoration.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they do it right out on the farm. I guess those all the farm animal like miniature horses and those cows that have the curly hair with the big horns or anything, and they got llamas and it's alpacas and things. It's very cute.
Well, so what our plan for today is, our class 4 is more of a restorative class, and it's if you had a headache, like, not one coming on like you're like, oh, I'm in pain, I have a headache. What do you do? So you really want to do a more restorative practice, more calming, probably not any active. We said coming on, you could have more like a cardio little bit to it to kind of, but when you're in that, that's only going to make it feel worse. So what I wanted to start with was wrapping the head. And so you have the scarf. And actually, since you're not, I'll grab this one because I give myself a reach for me. No, it's just this one. And so where you want to, it almost seems counterintuitive to want to put pressure on your head, but as you probably know, it does feel better. And the reason it feels better is a lot of times when the pressure outside is lower, like your low pressure weather system comes in, then the pressure in your head wants to equalize. I mean, that's the science of it. It wants to, like a law of osmosis. So it wants to equalize, but it can't get out because of your skull, right? So it pushes and then you get pain. So if you can create pressure from the outside, it feels better. So it actually makes logical sense when you think about it. So you can create pressure with a head wrap. You could even use you see they're kind of maybe 3 or 4 inches wide, kind of like a band that a lot of times people, so that you could do, you can kind of over the eyes, kind of more forehead over the eyes, but to come back more occipital, so kind of on a diagonal a little bit. So we're going to try to create that with the scarf. You can use an ace bandage, which is more elastic. I searched my whole house last night. I could not find a single ace bandage, so I said, well, we're doing scarves. So you want to start kind of along the base of the back of your head. And then coming around. And it can come across your eyes, but you just don't want to make too much pressure over your eyeballs. But so you want the pressure to kind of be more on your forehead. But it can cover your eyes just to kind of create that darkness. And then just keep going around. So kind of down in the back. And up in the front. Until you get to the end and you can tuck it. And even if you could do like a scarf like this and then put like a headband on top of it, something that was elastic, To kind of squeeze it in, just to get that. And then just try to. So I just wanted you to kind of get the feel of that. And you can, as we go through the class, you're welcome to keep it on, or you can take it off, just so we kind of know how that works. But you can kind of feel. Now, you can recreate that same kind of pressure, especially like when you're lying down, because your head's already pressing down with the sandbag. And then again, with your sandbag, you can kind of shift the sand up, so where you get most of the weight on your forehead, but then the lighter part can go over your eyes, and give you that darkness. You can even do one or two, or an eye pillow. An eye pillow, or sandbag, or the eye pillow, you could put in your refrigerator or freezer. You can pull, and then you can run it. It's really nice. Although probably not, you might need to put something where your eyeballs are, just so you don't want that freezing cold right, at your eyeballs. So that's head wrap where you actually have a headache. And that's all on here. So I kind of gave you little notes on the thing, so hopefully you would go, oh yeah, I remember doing it. It's enough that, you practiced it so you can remember. So we're going to start the practice. Well, actually, we're going to do just a little warm up first. Oh, one more thing too. So you have a towel, and we're just going to roll those up. This is going to be like a little neck roll. Now, what you might try now, so that this is like rolled all the way up, and just try it, just so you kind of, when we get to where we use a neck roll in the class, you don't have to keep like, oh wait, how do we figure out now, like how much neck roll do you want? So I'm gonna try it all the way and see if that feels okay. And that if that feels like too much, you can unroll a little bit. So you'll kind of know, like, where does it feel good for me? So, like, how much do I want to have that roll? Does that feel good like that? Yes, you do. So just keep that handy. So we're just going to start sitting up nice and tall. And bringing your palms to your heart center. You might close your eyes. And as you inhale, we're just going to slowly reach those arms up. Inhale apart, and then exhale down. And when they get about shoulder level, let them come back together. Inhaling up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. One more time, inhale up. And just fold those arms up. And slowly come down to about shoulder level. And we're going to let left hand go down, just get a nice stretch over, stretching that right side. And as you inhale, coming back up. And then exhale over to the other side. And come back center. Nice arms shown well. So as you inhale, open the chest, maybe draw the shoulder blades together in the back, and as you exhale, reaching forward, almost like a little cat stretch. So your back round and your chin drop to your chest and stretch through. Inhale, open. You're opening your chest. Exhale. Inhale, please stretch open. Exhale. One more time. And just release those hands down to your knees. However, if you'd like, you might have your palms open, if that feels all right. And then taking right ear over to the right shoulder. Deep breaths. Inhale. And then as you exhale, just slowly drop your chin down towards your chest. We're going to roll through the center. Bring it over to the left side. Left ear towards your left shoulder. And breathe. Inhaling. And then again, as you exhale, roll down through the center. One more time to the right. And imagine you're reaching this left ear up and over. And pressing that left shoulder down to really stretching that left side of the neck. Inhaling. And then exhale, coming down to the center again. And left. And imagining again now reaching that right ear up, right shoulder down, opening that right side of the neck. Just letting that head float back up center. Inhaling, shoulders forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. And back and down. One more time. Just take a moment to kind of check in, noticing how it feels in the neck and shoulders and your head. All right, so the first pose we're going to do is supported half dog pose. So we're going to be using the chair. And you're going to use both bolsters. So the first one is going to go on the chair seat, and you might even like kind of tuck it so it helps it to be stable. And the second one just comes on top. So we're going to stand close to the first bolster, and you want to keep the spine long. So think of just hinging, so you can come down, letting yourself rest. And you could put your hands on the chair back if you want. You could put your hands and let your forehead rest on your hands. Now, if it feels like too much stretch on your legs, you might take your feet a little bit further apart. Until you might feel the stretch, but it's not like so intense on the legs. Just walk back a little bit and find adjustment. You could even take your little towel roll and put it where it gets underneath your forehead to kind of give yourself a little breathing space. And then begin to think about the stretch. So imagine you're lengthening the spine. So like lengthening up the back of your neck, lengthening back down through your hips, through your tailbone, reaching back. Feel your feet grounding down into the floor. And maybe stretching up the backs of your legs. You might even feel like that tailbone lifts up slightly. But relaxing the arms, the shoulders, any tension there go. So the spine's active, the legs are active, but around the shoulders, neck, and head is soft. Let it soften. And just let your mind focus on your breath. Just watching the breath flow in and out of your body. Just progressively letting go more and more, when those arms relax, shoulders relax. And so as we release any of these poses today, be mindful about coming out very slowly. So we're just going to start by softening your knees, maybe bend your knees a little bit. And then just walk your hands kind of down onto the bolster about chest level. And then just very slowly coming back up to stand. Just take your time. Alright, so we're going to be taking the bolsters down onto your mat, and they're going to stack end to end. So we just will be taking the chair. So this is supported bridge pose. Now you may want to have, we're going to take like one blanket. So you have the bolsters end to end, yeah, and you can have your little blanket roll. And so we're going to have a blanket here, and then bring your little neck roll down there so you can put it underneath. So you're going to sit at about the middle. Well, maybe toward the end of that first bolster, because you want your shoulders to come down onto the blanket. Adjust that just a hair. So here, you're going to come down, and then you want your shoulders to touch the floor, and then that little neck roll underneath your neck. And you might squeeze those shoulders together just a little bit to let them come together, and then let that relax back down. And then one at a time, extend your legs up on that top bolster.
Should the bolster be like right below your shoulder blades?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about the perfect spot. I almost feel like it kind of lifts them a little bit. Now, also here, if you could take like a sandbag or something, even if you didn't have a sandbag, say you're at home, you could take a towel and lay it across your eyes and put maybe a book or two on top just to give it that weight. I've done that before, put a dictionary on my head. And so in this posture, we're just focusing on surrender, just letting go. Just feeling the weight of your body being supported by the props, by the floor. And just seeing how much you can let go of any holding and control of your body. In your mind's eye, allow yourself to visualize your brain inside your skull And imagine that your brain almost just, as with the exhale, just shrinks, and taking up a little bit less space, calming down. You might visualize it as like a cool color, maybe a really cool blue, like water. And so gently, one at a time, you're going to bend your knees. And just maybe start to rock your body a little side to side. you're gonna take your little neck roll out. And then as you rock, think of sliding your body down and off the end of the bolster. So you're kind of moving, kind of walking and rocking off until your hips come off. And then once your hips are off, you can roll your body over onto one side. You might take your little neck roll and with your hands underneath your head. Yeah, you can sit up if you're ready, or you can just rest there. Once again, the key is to move really slow. Use that top arm to just slowly bring your body up. You might bring your little neck roll with you. We're just going to come around, just shifting right into a little counter pose, supported child pose. So you're going to have your knees far enough apart where you can bring that one bolster right between kind of just the beginning of your knees. Now this can be done if you can get really nice and low in a child. Sometimes one bolster is enough, but you can also use the second bolster. And typically you want to kind of stair step them so you've got room for your chest, and then your head and shoulders can go on this one. You can use that, again, that little roll under your forehead. Or you can turn your head to one side, and if you turn your head sideways, what we'll do is we'll switch halfway. So we'll stay in this for about 5 minutes. With each breath, just allowing the body to sink into the bolsters, releasing into the floor. Relaxing the back of your neck, shoulders. And so as you inhale, just very slowly lift your head up and just rotate to the opposite side. And again, just release. especially in the neck and the shoulders. And just practicing being present to the present moment. Notice what's happening in your body from moment to moment. What's happening in the now. On your next inhale, just bringing your head back center. And bring your hands again, it comes to the bolster or to the floor. And just very slowly back up. Lining your spine up nice and tall. Just take a few breaths here. So next we're going to go into legs up the wall. What we're going to do is called elevated legs up the wall. So typically you can use a bolster. If you know your back doesn't like to bend too much, you might just try a folded blanket or two. You could stack both blankets. But if you want to try your bolster, just take that to the wall. And then you might take your blanket just out from there, from the bolster out. And then you can have your little neck roll available. So there's a little trick to getting up onto the bolster and without being far away, you kind of get a little bit close to the wall. So if you sit at one end of your bolster, you also might bring a sandbag too. I'll demonstrate that. You have a sandbag close by that you can use. So again, sitting at one end of the bolster, and then you're going to tip, like you're trying to take that hip that's closest to the wall up onto the wall. So you're kind of sitting down on that one buttock, and then come down to your elbow. And we're going to start to just walk those legs up. And then you can kind of lay your shoulders back. So your hips are up on top. Legs extended up. Then you can find your little neck roll, bring it under your neck. If you like the sandbag, you go your forehead, your eyes. gonna stay here for about 5 minutes. So again, coming back to the breath. And again, just noticing what's happening in the present moment. Notice the sensations in your body. And you might even mentally have described the sensation. What, if you could give it any attributes or qualities, hot or cold, it might, if you see any color, shape, it has any sense of emotion. Just what is it? You could label it. What are you experiencing in the present moment? And so one at a time, just slowly begin to bend your knees, let them release down towards your chest. And again, maybe just a little rock side to side. And then we're just going to gently roll over to one side. Let yourself come off that bolster. And again, just resting on one side. And bring that little neck roll underneath your head. And again, gently pressing up to seated. So we're going to finish with our Savasana. So we have a choice. If you've never done reclining, a supported reclining bound angle, you may want to try this. It's a little bit, what's the word we use? A little bit of stuff to get into it. Yeah, but once you get into it, it's like really, really relaxing. And if you want to, you can just do regular Savasana, maybe with a bolster underneath your knees. Try this, and not my favorite, but I love this, my favorite. So you're gonna make a T with the bolster, and then where you're gonna be seated, you can put a blanket. Yeah, let me give you guys some action other one. Because you're gonna need 2 blanket rolls. You're gonna need a blanket on either side. So you're gonna sit right with your sacrum up to the edge of that bolster, and then bring your feet into bound angle. And so then you're gonna take the, so they're gonna roll like this, and that goes under your knees, like the outside of the knee. Yeah, you're probably gonna put one on one side and one on the other. Yeah, so you're here, just so that so they're not just hanging in midair, but it gives it a little support. Like that. Yeah, and then you're just gonna lay back onto that bolster.
Nice.
Isn't it? I know, it's like complicated to get into it, but it's like, ooh, wait a minute. And so here you could either have an eye pillow on your eyes or your little sandbag. And so here, at first, we're just gonna practice a centering breath. So on your next inhalation, just make that inhalation very, very slow. And then make the exhale equally as slow. And then just allow your body to breathe normally for a few breaths. Long, slow exhale. And then again, just those few normal breaths. And so maybe repeat that for 3 or 4 more rounds at your own pace. So again, just slowly taking a deep breath. stand back on, slowly take that off. And then just bringing your knees up, you might roll the blanket away. And then just slowly bringing your chin to your chest. Just gently come up to seated. And just maybe taking a little side-to-side movement with your neck. Nice and easy, just releasing any last little tension that might be there. Do some little half circles. Gently roll your shoulders. And joining your palms at your heart center. Namaste. Well, thank you all so much. I really enjoyed doing this workshop. Do you all have any questions about anything?
When I did this bolster, or, it's like turning my head to the side just to relax, and I just can't get that.
Oh, like when we were doing the child?
Yeah, I just can't get that neck
Yeah, so you can
side, and it was very painful.
you can do, just like either something where you just
So I ended up,
keep
kind
it
of.
straight, like, or with that neck roll. And you put that, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's too much if you don't have that range of motion.
Thank you.
Trying to get stop the recording. I'll be right back.